My fiancée, female, and I, male, are getting married. We've decided the wedding is going to be child-free. No hate towards children, just to keep it more organised and contained. My brother, Chris, and his wife have a toddler son who everyone calls a miracle or rainbow baby. He came after several failed pregnancies that lasted for years. When they found out my nephew was included in the no children rule, they tried to convince me to make an exception for him. Chris told me his son is a miracle baby and his presence at the wedding would bring blessings for my fiancée and me. I refused and said no, the wedding is child-free. His wife kept sending my fiancée pics of my nephew when he was months old. What does that mean? Again, I told them no and to stop. My brother told me this might cause a rift in our relationship. I again said no and explained that the wedding was child-free. He asked again and pointed out how his baby was different, since he was a rainbow, a miracle baby. I again said no and explained that the wedding was child-free. They brought it up when they visited my home and I knew they weren't going to stop, so I made flashcards in advance with the phrase, "The wedding is child-free, period," and pulled them out and started slowly showing them the flashcards one by one in this order. The wedding, with the sticker of bride and groom, is child, with a sticker of a baby, free, with a sticker of a sign, period, with a huge black dot sticker. They were both stunned. I asked if they got it now and Chris had lost his crap. His wife had already grabbed her stuff and walked out. Chris called me an idiot for doing this and said I disrespected him, his wife, and their son, who's my one and only nephew. He rushed out after we argued. My fiancée saw the whole thing and thought it was funny, but my parents and Chris are livid beyond measure. They're telling everyone about the amount of disrespect and mockery I had displayed towards them, and I'm being told to fix it now. Well, I suppose you could have used hand puppets instead, but flashcards seem to have gotten the message across. It makes me insane how some parents think their little bundle of joy should be allowed anywhere, any when, any time, and that child-free never applies to them. It's pretty clear they were going to run this horse up to the altar. You are not the idiot, OP. You should have told them that all babies are miracles, but that you were having a miracle-free wedding. The only miracle at my wedding is that you two are still invited. I'm dying of laughter that after getting the no, the parents started sending baby pictures like that would turn the tide. These people have genuinely lost the plot. Babies are cute, we know this, but no one is that gaga over someone else's kid. Geez, they're raising that kid to think he's God's gift to Earth. He's going to be so narcissistic as an adult. Yep, and this kid is screwed. The parents will spoil the crap out of him, make excuses for any bad behaviour, make him a priority in every situation, make life a living nightmare for his teachers, etc. He will grow up thinking he's better than everyone else and will have a brutal adulthood once he realises his friends and co-workers don't give a flying crap that his parents had trouble getting pregnant. OP, you are not a bad brother to give your brother and sister-in-law a damn night off away from their toddler. If he was only 3 months and breastfed, and you were getting cranky because they wouldn't come without him, you would be a bit of an idiot. But he's a toddler. He can handle a babysitter watching him. Heaven help the child when he starts school. Look, OP, I'm infertile. I wanted kids all my life. Hubby and I tried for years, but it will never happen. Trying almost killed me, so I had to choose. Keep trying and die, or stop. I would have loved to help hold the flashcards for you. Heck, I would have gone full-blown interpretive dance for you if that was what it took to get it through their thick skulls that the wedding will be child-free. It's your wedding, your rules. Ever since I can remember, our family has always gone on a hike on the morning of Christmas. We did it all through my childhood, my husband's family did it, and my friends' families are similar, though for some it's just a walk or some go into the city and do an easy 5 or 10 kilometre run. My son Porter has been dating Emily for the past 6 months. I'm happy she's going to join us. They're coming from the city about 3 hours away, so they'll be staying overnight. I've met Emily before and she's a great match for Porter. I know there's all that hoopla about the mother-in-law, daughter-in-law dynamics, and I just have no time for any of that. If Porter likes her and she treats him with kindness, and he is the same, who am I to complain? I Skyped with them on Thanksgiving, just making plans for who's bringing what for Christmas, gifts and such, and I mentioned that she should remember to bring her hiking boots, but we'll have plenty of yak tracks if the trails are icy. She was visibly confused and asked what for, so I explained. Then she got quiet and asked if she had to. I said, no, of course she doesn't have to, but we've always done this, and I was surprised Porter didn't mention it. The next day, Porter called and explained that Emily wasn't in great shape and would struggle with keeping up. even on one of the easier trails nearby. He said that maybe we could just do a nice short family walk in the neighborhood this year, so she feels more welcome. I said that maybe the two of them could hang back and enjoy a nice quiet morning before the festivities begin while the rest of us go for the hike. I remember being young with Porter's father and how special those early Christmas mornings always were. Plus, this will be her first time with the family and it's going to be a lot. Porter got annoyed and said I'm not hearing him. He said that he really thinks we need to cut the hike down or make different plans. I told him in return that this is a family tradition that goes back for years, and changing it for one person isn't fair to the rest of the family, so we're at a stalemate. I even said that if they hang back for the morning, I'd be happy to go on a nice walk with Emily and Porter later in the day during a quiet moment. He said, I'm still not hearing him. Am I the idiot for not being willing to downgrade the hike to a little stroll around the neighborhood? Not the idiot. I hear Porter and don't understand why he thinks his girlfriend's abilities should dictate everyone else's plans and activities. You offered to do a walk around the neighborhood later or just let them hang back. He's free to do a shorter hike with her too, so while it would be nice for them to join the big hike, he can also take her on a shorter, much easier one. Porter is not hearing Mom. The answer is no, she's not going to change the hike for one person. I wonder why Porter is making this a huge issue. Just hang back, do an easy walk or whatever they want. It really shouldn't be that big of a deal. Porter keeps saying you're not hearing me because you keep giving him options that won't solve his problem. What he's really saying is, our family tradition will make Emily feel left out and insecure. What you're saying is, if you want we can leave you out too, or I can single her out in some other way. Also, where the heck do they live where families will do casual 10 kilometers on Christmas morning or any other day? I know plenty of families going for a walk and a few who actually do a hike, but a 10-kilometer run? Did the mayor put steroids into the drinking water or something? Who does casual 10Ks with their family? LOL at the people calling a 6-month girlfriend a family member. I have condiments older than their relationship. My family also hikes on holidays, and I'd be surprised and maybe a little defensive if one of my sisters tried to change things for a new boo. However, I'm guessing Porter is just trying to stop any embarrassment or anxiety from Emily's point of view. It's sweet, just misguided. He wants to protect her from being seen as an outsider. Just make sure they know that her being out of shape has no bearing on how you feel about her. To be honest, you sound like a nice mother-in-law, and I'm sure you'll be able to connect with Emily in your own way. My wife, 29, is 4 months pregnant and cannot stand the smell of alcohol. Even the smallest whiff on your breath or clothes will send her spewing. I, 31 male, love whiskey in the evening time. I would drink a glass, proceed to brush and use mouthwash so my wife doesn't barf on me when she sees me. Yet she runs away from me whenever I'm even a meter away because she claims she can still smell it from a mile away. We haven't even kissed at night due to this, and I've tried everything to eliminate the smell, yet she still believes she can smell it, which makes her lose it completely. A couple of days ago, I changed my clothes, showered after it, and told her that I promised the smell is gone. She proceeded to hug me and quickly ran to the bathroom to vomit. Then she comes back to tell me that she isn't coming near me at night until this baby comes out. She tells me that she was right and that I am being inconsiderate to her introduction to motherhood, even though I think I'm being overly considerate and trying my best to get rid of this scent that she can smell from a mile away. She's proceeded to move into our guest bedroom until the foreseeable future. I told her she was overreacting and that it was quite disrespectful. She told me that she isn't trying to be any of those things, she just can't stand the smell of alcohol. Am I the idiot? Info: why are you more dedicated to your nightly drink than your pregnant wife? I got to, I've tried everything, and my immediate thought was, except not drinking. I would go without if it was making a loved one literally sick. I love alcohol more than my wife is a terrible look for a relationship. Yeah, can you imagine how inconsiderate she is for sleeping in another room to stop herself from getting sick because he can't go a single night without a drink? I'm baffled at the mental gymnastics going on here. I've tried everything, except of course just not drinking for even one night. Dude is not ready to be a parent. Wait, OP, you think she's being disrespectful? Pregnant women often have a very heightened sense of smell. If you think about it, it can be a very helpful pregnancy symptom because eating something rotten and/or getting food poisoning can be especially dangerous. So, evolutionarily, it's helpful to have a good sense of smell while pregnant. What sucks is having a husband who thinks that your being sick is somehow inconvenient for him. You are the idiot. I say this because I'm in this exact situation right now, except my vice is beer. I gave up beer when I was around her. Do you know why? Because she's growing my child. We, as men, have literally no idea or way of understanding what they're going through, and each pregnancy is unique. So stop. It won't be that long, I promise. And if you can't stop, please seek treatment. I, 30 female, love my husband, 27. He's charming, quick-witted, handsome, and funny when he wants to be, and he's the type of person everyone is drawn to. I was the one to ask him out, say I love you, kiss him, plan our dates, and file the paperwork. He's not particularly affectionate. I think he wouldn't have proposed to me had his family not expected it. Nevertheless, I'm very happy. Recently, I went to a dermatologist about 2 growing spots on my body. It turns out that they were semi-benign tumours that could turn cancerous. I had them removed. I asked my long-term friend Amy, 30 female, to support me as the surgeon required someone else to take care of me. Amy is a very touchy-feely person and we're basically sisters. I felt that I needed affection. I did the surgery on a week when my husband would be away. It went smoothly. My husband noticed the bandages yesterday and asked if I got hurt. I had to tell him the truth and told him it was a small operation. He said it was cruel of me to ask Amy instead of him. I told him I didn't want to burden him and he got even more irritated. My parents heard about this and told me that I did the right thing, but when I told my friends, they said it was an idiot move, especially Amy, who took the day off to help me. Hold the phone. You didn't even bother telling him? You are the idiot, OP. You probably shouldn't be married if you can't trust your spouse to care for you or be there when you need surgery. That first paragraph is so confusing. So you love your husband, and he's all those amazing things, but he also puts no effort into your relationship and doesn't want to marry you? What? I comfort my husband. He's kind of like a fancy ice cube. Beautiful, refreshing, but cold. He sounds like a trophy. Really weird and unhealthy that you don't feel like you can tell your husband about an operation you're having, regardless of who comes with you or not. Since I don't understand your relationship at all from that first paragraph, I have no idea who's out of line here. I don't think you're an idiot for asking your friend. She could say no if taking a day off was a big deal. Sometimes you just want a close friend, especially if your husband isn't naturally a great caregiver. All of that said, everything you mentioned sounds like a one-sided relationship. This was one time you really needed your husband, and you didn't feel like you could rely on him. Not being super affectionate doesn't give you a free pass to not be a kind human being. Why can't you speak with your husband about your health? My husband finds anything emotionally burdensome. I was really scared and I wanted to be comforted, so I picked the person who could and would comfort me, Amy. I would have picked my mom, but she's getting up there in age and can't drive 5 hours to take care of me. Same for my dad. You do not say he loves you. Funny when he wants to be. Yikes. You're the one doing all the emotional labor. He's mad because you made him look bad by asking your friend who is all the things he is not. He's mad about his image. He's not remotely concerned about you. Please pay attention to this, and please do not have children with this person. Not the idiot, but you're married to someone who sounds narcissistic. Seriously, OP says he hates all of her friends, including Amy. Amy also doesn't like her husband, so his charm hasn't fooled her. He gets annoyed by her problems, even health ones. It's a burden to him. He doesn't plan dates. He didn't take one single first step in their relationship progression. He sounds like a true joy to live with. I'm 20 female, babysitting my niece, preschooler, for a week while my sister is on a business trip. My niece misses her mom, so to cheer her up, I put a couple of treats in her lunch. Her lunch was a turkey and cheese sandwich with cucumbers and avocado, carrot sticks and ranch, apple slices, cookie, fruit snacks, brownie, juice box. Clearly not the healthiest, but also this is a special treat, and she has all 5 food groups. I dropped my niece off at 9, and at 10, snack time, I got a call from the teacher saying I had to drop off a new lunch because my niece's was too unhealthy. I told her to give my niece the fruits or vegetables if she has a problem with the treats, and she told me she threw away the lunch because it was distracting to the other kids. I decided to call the office and tell them that I needed to pull my niece out for an appointment at 11. Lunch is 11:30, and that she'd be back by the end of lunch. So at 11 I picked her up and we got Happy Meals, cookies, fruit snacks and milkshakes. Then at 12, end of lunch, I dropped her off with a Happy Meal box and her almost finished milkshake. The teacher saw this and was fuming. She told my sister what happened because shortly after I got a call from my sister saying I was being petty and should have just dropped off a new sandwich. Am I the idiot for pulling my niece out and filling her up on sugar because her teacher threw away her lunch? Not the idiot. What the actual heck? Now kids aren't allowed to even bring lunches with a treat in them? What kind of power trip do you have to be on to throw away a preschooler's lunch? So if you dress your niece in very pretty clothes that bothered the other kids, would the teacher have ripped them off, thrown them away and told you to bring ratty ones? I suppose if your niece had been showboating and bragging about, "Oh, look at my awesome lunch," there might be some grounds for the teacher to get involved here. Or was this just teacher seeing in the box at snack time? If so, she should have stayed in her freaking lane. This sounds like a teacher making a big show of what happens to children whose adults pack them cookies and brownies. It's meant to make the kids keep the parents in line. Mine protested when I wanted to pack them some leftover brownies from last night's dessert, and of course to prevent food envy in the other kids. The teacher went all the way overboard though and threw out the healthy items with the unhealthy, so she can reimburse OP for those. If I were OP, I would have marched into the middle of the class in front of all the kids and handed the teacher a bill, demanding they immediately reimburse me for the food they recklessly wasted. Of course, I'd also ask them how they could ever waste good food like that, knowing that there are starving people in the world. If they want to make a big show of things, then they can damn well expect the same in return. Avocados are not cheap. Food isn't cheap.